Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Let us continue learning networking concept. And today's session is going to be the last session of this particular chapter. With that, we will end this chapter and we will start a new one in the next session. So today we will be discussing briefly about viruses. So what is this computer virus? So computer virus is a malicious program that requires a host and is designed to make a system sick, just like real viruses. So when we get, as a humans, we get a virus, we fall sick, isn't it? Similarly, when we get a system gets a virus, that also falls sick by not performing and by all its files maybe getting deleted. All those things happens with the system. So these viruses are computer viruses, nothing but the programs. They are programs which are programmed in order to harm the system. So viruses can spread from computer to computer and they can replicate themselves. Replicate is nothing but they can form a duplicate or multiply of themselves. Okay. Some viruses are categorized as harmless pranks, while others are far more malicious. Okay. So let us see which are the different types of viruses which we have. So first one is a file infectors. Like the name says, as you would have understood, these types of viruses either infect executable files or attach themselves to a program file and create duplicate files. Imagine you're having n number of duplicate files in your system. That is a problem. Next one is a boot server viruses. So install themselves on the beginning track of a hard drive or the master boot record, or simply they change the pointer to an active boot sector. Now we all have studied everything about master boot record, where we will have our operating system which has to be loaded and then only our system will start. Imagine you're having a virus is sitting there. Okay, that is nothing but your boot server viruses, which will of course affect the booting of your program or your system. Macroviruses infect data files like electronic spreadsheets or databases of several software packages. Next one is a network viruses. These viruses use protocols and commands of computer network to spread themselves on the network. Generally, they use email or any data transfer files to spread themselves on the network. So what happens is, suppose you are getting a mail and you are sending it to your friend and that friend is sending to another friend. With that virus has spread across the network. It's not just spread and it will sit there and it will harm your files. So we have these four types of viruses. Let us see what are the characteristics. So what happens or how they behave. So first thing is it is able to replicate. That is, it will duplicate and it will multiply and it will fill your system. It requires a host program as a carrier. Of course, for example, I said it might be attached to an email. It might be attached with some document. So it needs certain host with which only it will be able to transfer. As its own, it will not be able to transfer. So it is activated by external action. For example, you're clicking on a mail, clicking on a link, certain action has to be happen in order for it to be activated. Otherwise, it will be lying there. Okay. Its replication ability is limited to the system. So unless and until you are transferring it to you're mailing it to your friend or transferring via pen drive or something like that, you are not using, it will be within that system itself. If you once you transfer any document or you have copied it into a pen drive and given a pen drive to somebody else, it will not spread. So that is another feature. Okay, so how can we do this prevention of the virus? So virus prevention is not a difficult task. All you need to be is extra careful and ensure to follow the following guidelines to lead virus-free computing file. Never use a foreign disk or a CD without scanning it for viruses. Now, disk or a CD is old versions. Nowadays, you can say probably a USB cable or a hard disk, external hard disk, whatever we will have, or a pen drive. All those things never use until you're scanning it for virus. Now, how do we scan it for a virus? All of you should have to have an antivirus in our system, and you have to go on updating those antivirus. So when I do an updation of the antivirus, what happens is every time there is a new type of a virus appearing in globally in the network, that antivirus company will have a solution for that updated in their software and which will be updated. If you're not updating it, may probably the more dangerous virus you are prone to get in your system. So always scan files downloaded from the internet or other sources. Never boot your PC from a floppy. Now, even the floppy disk used to be used in the olden days. Nowadays, you might not have seen it, but there was a possibility with the floppy disk also you could boot your systems. But since nowadays we do not use it, so that you can avoid this. Write protect your disk. Write protect your disk is nothing but every time disk you want to write something onto disk, there is something called as a write protection. You can do that. Use licensed software only. If you are using a hacked software, possibility that viruses are there along with that. Password protect your PC to prevent unattended modifications. If you, for example, if you are in an office or in a general place where you are using your mail ID, you have logged in, you have not logged out. Probably you are using a general system where you have multiple users are using it. You have logged in with your user, but you have forgot to log out. Such things can also cause virus. Install and use antivirus software mandatory. Okay, keep antivirus software up to date. That is what I said. It is important to keep the antivirus up to date because it will have a solutions or a remedy for the recent viruses. So that's all in today's session, students. So with this, we have ended this particular chapter. So thank you for watching. Keep learning. Please subscribe my channel.